The retail recession hits Australia fair. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, I'm Florian Heise and welcome to another episode of Heise Says. I thought I'd do something a little bit different today. I went down to the Gold Coast the other weekend with my wife and family. We decided to go out and go shopping. We thought we would have a look at Australia Fair. Now Australia Fair is in the northern portion of the Gold Coast, in Southport, and it has quite a history. It's also a little tired. And I noticed something. When I was walking around, I'd noticed a lot of shops that were not really empty, but were repurposed for other uses. So I grabbed my phone and I decided to record some footage just to put something together to share with the audience, really to get you all to talk about retail centres around Australia. Now, I watched the Dead Mall series in America. There's a whole bunch of YouTubers where they go and they film these dead malls and they put it all to music and they do a really good job. This is not that. More so because I didn't take any of my special equipment. It was just on my phone, so you need to forgive the camera shake. And our malls are not as drastically affected as those in the United States. We have a very high square meter rate per population, but not as high as the US. It's just crazy over there. So Australia Fair was originally built in 1983 and it was known as Scarborough Fair, and it was anchored by a Franklin's. In 84, it incorporated a Coles and Kmart, so it had 3 anchors, which was reasonable. In 89, it doubled its size, extended through the Narang Street Mall, and it had the Coles, Woolworths, and Franklin's there as retail tunnels, as well as Kmart. So it had 4 of them. Now there was a mall next to Australia Fair, which no longer exists anymore. It kind of died. I know this area because my mother had a hair salon further up Marine Parade. So during primary school, I would come and play, and we'd hang out at Australia Fair in the mall. But in 1990, so it was renamed to Australia Fair on the 10th of April. It cost $300 million to complete. At completion, and I'm quoting this from Wikipedia, Australia Fair had the largest concentration of specialty shops in the Southern Hemisphere. It was the only shopping centre in the Gold Coast, let alone the nation, with 3 supermarket chains at the time: Woolworths, Coles and Franklin. In 91, the 52,000 square metre shopping development is the first of its kind in Australia, one of the largest in Queensland. I remember visiting then as a child with my parents on holiday from Victoria. We went here and we had a look. So in 93, there's an extension to introduce a 6-centre cinema. In 95, Fashion Boulevard and Broadwater Food Court. In 97, 98, the extensions were completed and the cinema was expanded from 6 to 10. So 98 to 99, Colonial First State bought it into a joint venture ownership of Australia Fair with MPEC. 2001, Gordon Fu purchased Australia Fair from Colonial First State. And 2002 to 2004, $2.7 million was spent on upgrading to the flooring, directional signage and amenities. So just remember that. They spent $2.7 million to upgrade the amenities. We're going to look at some of those here. So what I thought we'll do is we'll just jump here to this video footage that I recorded, and I'll just talk over it. So this is the across the street from the parking, so you can just see, the center. It's looking a bit tired. It hasn't been cleaned. It's quite dirty on a lot of the facades here, and I mean the style. It's aging. So you can see some of the discoloration on the panels there and just the old office building, typical Gold Coast palm lights. And this is where palm trees. This is when we went inside, I noticed a lot of these type of spaces. So this was a huge retail footprint there that's just either used as an eating area and it was all closed down. So it's not being leased out. It's not being leased. It's used as just dead space here. We can see here a bit further up, you've got this book swap there, and that was interesting. They're repurposing these empty shops, trying to make it more alive and more vibrant. But I was just shocked at seeing this much floor area there empty. And literally just across the other side of the mall there, you had another shop completely closed up. completely closed up with the hoarding there, and they've put, signage on there and a bit of decoration. But I mean, that's another large retail tenancy that is completely empty. And further up the mall, you've got more of these, where they've allowed other tenants to put installations into the space. Another little shop, completely empty. So it's not as depressing as the United States. Here we go, we've got another one. And this is, we had the large eating area that was completely closed off, because this was a Sunday when we were going on to visit. And you can see here, this is another tenancy, which is the lounge. You can sit and relax in peace. You've got to supervise your children, but it's literally crappy fake carpet, tiles popping up, and some garden chairs there. That's the lounge. I mean, they need to do something to these spaces at a low cost. Here is one of the amenities. This was the parents' room, and this is one we all know, and you can see Frederick and the kids playing, and they play pen with absolutely nothing in the pen. Remember, they spent $2.7 million upgrading the amenities. I think they forgot that one. So here we are, we're walking further down the mall, and you can just see how, it's obviously the architecture of the time is coming through. And forgive the camera bump. I do have a handheld thing. I'll get that later. And we can see as we're approaching or turning the corner here, there's more shops in the distance that are just empty, and everything's, for sale, and I'm panning way too quick. And you've got, the escalators, going up and down to the car park. And here we have another empty shop in the distance. And again, to my right, another empty shop. Where they've enclosed it in with hoarding and put all the advertising for the centre there. In the centre, they're trying to hide the fact that these tenancies are completely empty. Completely empty. Are you seeing this more and more in the shopping centres around? Is this a sign of the recession that retail is hitting, particularly for the smaller ones? I was just surprised how many of them were like this, that they had to close in. Where am I going here? Well, here you go. And then I walked further on, and I discovered another one, just with the hoarding up there. So it's a good opportunity to invest in hoarding, perhaps. And, we had a mix of people there. Now, this was across the end of the mall, across the road. And this is some of the offices there. And frankly, it was a very, very sad and, shall we say, somewhat depressing space. And we're just looking at the approach from the car park here. And then we'll go back and we'll have a look at the walkover. And you can see here's the car park space here. With some of the medical precincts, but there are also, I'm playing with transitions. So there are a few, a dental clinic here and some offices that are obviously closed at this time. But there are a few empty tenancies as well over here. And you can see it's just feeling very tired and old. And further up, you've got another, like a hidden away tenancy. And through to the left, you'll see the connection over to the mall, to the rest of the center. And we'll walk through that, and it's getting quite... Its age is starting to come. There's definitely some maintenance work that needs to be done. There's some tiles popping here that need replacement. Some cracked ones on the floor. And here I found, there's a gymnasium to the left, which is probably giving it a fair bit of activity. Here, a little tenancy just completely, hidden away there. I don't know how much foot traffic you'd get from people coming from the car park, maybe from the gymnasium, but I mean, that will be a hard one to activate, a difficult one to make any money. And this is in Southport, where a lot of apartment buildings have come up, a lot more activity has happened. And this is the approach. We're walking across the connection over the street here. And we can just see you can see what they've done is they've plugged up all of the louvers with just some little hollow core. And it's all weathered and starting to rust. Paint's chipping off. I hope none of that paint's lead-based. Because people are holding their hands there, and you can see it's staining here. Its age is starting to show. It certainly is. You can see here, I noticed over here, look at all the peeling, and it needs a bit of love. We go through into the center here. And here on the right, where I just was, there's another empty tenancy. that's closed up. I was surprised how many of them were closed, even at this time on Sunday. I'm used to, in Brisbane, all of them being open. And here's Rachel in this large play area, another play area for children. You know, which is great as a parent. You know, it's fine. They've got stuff to play with. The kids are having a ball. But that's not really going to make them any money. You know, are you going to go there as a parent just to play in this little space? So, yeah, another one. Empty. Another hoarding. And here we have an approach to the right. There is the cinema. You got, you know, Hungry Jack's and a few food premises there. So the upper story of, because it's a two-story complex, the upper story was the one with the larger number of empty tenancies there, or spaces that had been converted to these additional uses. Food bank advertising. And I have a look here at just the planning to see what the quality is in there. It's all the fake plants and the stuff in there. It's not too bad. At least they've kept it clean. And this is the book swap, and I just have an image there to show you. It's where you go in and swap books, and there's Otelia playing. You know, the kids were having a ball. The book swap was an odd one, and it's just showing you an image of the centre there. So, guys, that was kind of my day trip to Australia Fair, and I was surprised at the number of empty tenancies that were there that were repurposed. You know, Australia Fair was one of the more exciting shopping centres on the Gold Coast, and now it's in many ways it's been left behind, particularly by Robina Town Centre. Just the scale they have there, or even Pacific Fair, the amount of money that's getting ploughed into these retail centres. But is it going to be worth it? And just think how many of the other ones are owned by super companies. So guys, let me know if you like these type of videos. Should I get my equipment to get rid of the camera, the camera wobble, and do it a bit better? You know, let me know in the comments. Let me know about your other retail shopping centers where there's a lot of empty spaces, or stealthily converted spaces that unless you think actually looking for wasted retail space, thinking, oh wait a minute, that's not a real shop. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Take care.